pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. On to agenda approval. I don't think there's anything from staff. Is there anything from council? Any changes, additions, subtractions? No. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved, Kemp.
Second, Nichols.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. We have open forum. If there's anyone that would like to speak at open forum for items not on the agenda tonight, I think we're good. Okay, then we will move on to update this consent agenda consisting of items 5A through 5I. Does anyone want to pull anything? No, if not, I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5I.
So moved, Nichols.
Second, Kemp.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Planning. We have an item that we tabled at the previous meeting. It is the 6A final plat and final PUD for Tavera 7th edition. And I don't know if was anyone gonna, there really wasn't probably any presentation prepared because it was just tabled from the last meeting where we got to look at the staff report and had a brief presentation there. I guess my thinking would be that potentially the concern that was raised was addressed or is in the process of being addressed through the consent agenda item that we just passed. So I would think that we are good to go ahead and make that motion to approve. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve, see if I can find the resolution number. Resolution 2024-106 and 2024-107 approving the final PUD plan and final plat and development contract for Tavera 7th. McKee is making the motion.
Second, Kemp.
Any discussion?
I have seen a lot of activity lately trying to clean up other items, which I think is really good. It did take a lot of effort on, I think, staff's part to get to this place. Is there anything that we should be thinking about for Tavera in terms of systems and policies to ensure that we don't have the same kind of challenges in the future?
I think both I think we're implementing that by forcing the conversation. I think the developers in the community are also, awareness is being raised where they want to maybe act a little more prudently. So I think there's momentum building to shorten the windows of some of these developments. So I don't think there's a process that I would recommend.
Yeah, it needs to be across everybody, though, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with the.
So I don't think there's a process. I think there's a raised attention to it, and I would say Tavera, as a broad development, is ahead of where Ravinia was by far at this stage in the process in terms of outstanding items, in terms of where the developer's at. So I think I wouldn't recommend proposing any other things other than just an awareness of what's going on, and staff is implementing that policy with developers, so a little more aggressive conversations in terms of, hey, let's get this cleaned up. So I think that's the policy shift that we're having.
To Council Member Nichols' point, I think it's important that multi-stage projects like this are treated as one project. If there is non-compliance on one addition, I think it's fair to consider that when we're asked to approve a subsequent addition. So, and I do have a question on, I saw that one of the requirements was that the city had to inspect the grade. Has that been done, do you know? I thought I read that in there.
Inspect the grade, maybe. I don't know exactly where that's referencing. If you have reference to that, I can.
Okay, I'll get that to you.
But generally, inspecting the grade would be making sure that the drainage is meeting our minimum or maximum slope standards. But
right.
I don't know specifically what you're referencing, but that's what I would react to here. But if you have a specific question, email it to me and I can provide a direct answer.
Thank you.
Okay. And then if nothing else, all those in favor, once again, the resolution was to approve 24, 106, and 107. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
4-0. Okay, no unfinished business. Moving right along. We have new business 8A. We have a public comment opportunity on 8A for the new construction escrow process. If anyone would like to speak on that. Otherwise, we will go right into 8A. Is that Kevin?
It's Mike.
Mike? No. Perfect.
Technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties.
Oh, were we?
He's trying to
Or just
fix
not?
this laptop.
Okay. I was gonna say I didn't notice anything.
AI is hacking them.
You wanna try the other one?
Well, he's got the wrong name tag, that's why it's not working.
I think that's a crime. Impersonating.
That's impersonating a police officer, that's not all right. Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
just as a gap filler, just wanted to give credit to Kevin for going through on his bet. It's very much appreciative. It's nice to see we
Absolutely.
got him at least for 20 minutes into a Viking shirt.
Yeah, you lucked
so-
out that it might be one of the shorter council meetings we had in a long time.
Well, we still have to play again.
We do. We
No,
do,
we
and
don't.
it's still on.
No, you don't have to play.
The double dip, so.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Double or nothing?
hopefully we won't be resting too many starters by then. We'll see.
I just have one question, like, that shiny trophy, I can't remember the name of it. Do you guys?
You haven't won it in so long, I don't know.
Wise guy.
That shiny trophy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna, it starts with an L.
And the Packers have won it
No,
how
it's
many
not ringing a
times?
bell.
How many times have the Packers won it?
The Super Bowl or the World Championship?
Yeah,
No, World Championship doesn't count. You weren't born
13
yet.
World Champions,
13
four-
altogether,
four
that's
Super
right,
Bowls.
that's right.
How many when you were alive? 1, 2,
2.
2. Yeah. Credit where
That's a
credit's
number
due.
more than mine.
That's 2. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, heck, you take all of Minnesota.
They won all the
Got
ones
2
I
in my
watched.
lifetime.
They were
No,
at least
one in my
tied or ahead when I turned them off, when I was watching the Vikings play the Super Bowl. So they're winners in my book.
Yeah. Well, we had like 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, didn't we?
Yeah, it
We
was
lost all of them.
God, it was.
Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, and Dolphins, I think. Not necessarily in that order. But one thing we can agree on, boy, do the Bears look bad. Better than normal, but still bad.
How many people we got online? Anybody?
I don't know.
6, including Jeremy.
Thank you, everybody, and Jeremy.
Hope
We
this
didn't do that last time.
IT screen is exciting. There we go.
Hey, we were almost there.
We figured it out.
I needed to stand there.
Perfect.
All right. Mayor, council, thank you. I apologize for those issues there. So this is regarding the new home construction escrow process that we're bringing forward. So I'm just do a quick summary of what that is.
Sounds good.
So this is, like I said, for new home construction, we look at new home construction as having 2 components. One is the site work, the other is the actual building construction. Those 2 don't always coincide into completion at the same time. Some of this is weather, some of it's our long winters. A other issues, but it kind of shortens that season. You can still construct the building, but not do the site work. So for that reason, a lot of cities utilize an escrow process so that they can take that, allow people to move into their home, get their certificate of occupancy, but still ensure completion of the site work in a timely manner. So this ordinance would kind of clarify that process for the developer and the city. It would give us an opportunity to set a deadline. It would give us an opportunity to, if needed, enforce those rules as far as completing the work ourselves or through contractors. That's obviously a last resort, but this would allow us to do that. It would give us that ability as well as the funds to complete the work. So we sent this out and receiving some initial feedback and having further discussion internally. Staff is proposing a few changes to what we sent to you originally. First one being adding additional language to subdivision 5 and 7 that is some clarifying language that states the city may require additional escrow depending on incomplete work at the time of CO, as well as adding that to the policy itself. Staff is recommending collecting a base escrow at issuance of $5,000 and then requiring more escrow depending on what's incomplete at CO issuance. So in just general example would be if the driveway is not in, we tack on another $5,000. If wetland buffers weren't in place, maybe it's another $1,000. Those numbers we would have to figure out between engineering and what the kind of current rates are for that, but we'd have a general number for that we could add on. And then there was a suggestion to add removal of noxious weeds to that final inspection, and staff agrees that's a good idea. It won't necessarily solve the weeds and outlots and around the development, but on that individual lot, it should be able to take care of that.
Perfect.
Tonight, or I'll say, the implementation of this plan would require an ordinance update, policy approval, and then an update to the fee schedule. And staff welcomes council feedback, and we are requesting direction to move forward with this and get it going so that we can implement on the first of the year.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for Mike?
Would this apply to developments that are already in process?
No, this would start, it'd be a January 1, so any permits issued after January 1st, it would start with those.
Okay, so if there are Amberley or something like that, if they have new permits starting 2025, it would be factored in for those?
Yes, absolutely, yep. Even if it's a started subdivision, anything new after that would be under these rules.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
What would the, I heard you say $5,000. I assume that that's just a placeholder for this discussion, or has that been decided on? And if so, what criteria was used to come to that dollar amount?
Come to that, so it's a placeholder. We're gonna look into numbers, just based on kind of surrounding cities and what they're doing. Currently, we use a $3,000 escrow for a rural development through the land disturbance permit process. We've been pretty successful getting compliance that way. A lot of the rural stuff is minimal. It's one overstory tree and then seed the lot. So there's not a lot there. This, when you get into these, especially planned unit developments where there's a lot of landscape and a lot of other requirements, that number would probably go up. But we'll have to look into kind of get better numbers. This is, I don't want to say arbitrary, it's the best guess of what it may cost to do this. But we can look into it further and get closer numbers if we'd like to.
Thank you.
But for instance, this first 5,000 would cover landscaping, final grading, sod, kind of those main things that we kind of find are issues, and then we can always add on top of that depending on other issues that we may find.
And you said that you've spoken with surrounding cities that do this?
Yes.
Have they been willing to share with you their fee schedule?
Yeah, some have. I think city to the south of us here has, I want to say, a $10,000 escrow. Other cities use kind of an à la carte like we're looking at, where they break it down even further, where they go, 250 for this size tree, 500 for this, 700. So we're gonna try to simplify that, but use that same kind of process.
Great, thank you, that's helpful.
Mr. Mayor, John had a question 2 meetings ago, I think, about this and such, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. He was disappointed in all the homes that were backed up to 116, and why don't we make the developer have the decks, porches, 3-season porches put on them. I think in one of your things here, that's an à la carte kind of deal, I'm sure, for the developers and stuff. Can we do anything like that? Houses against main thoroughfares, something like that, would be nice to see. Completed decks out back, or 3-season porches, something out back instead of, or
Or no
that's
door.
probably extreme, but there's doors there, there's glass there, that's one big step. We don't see any outside of those homes protecting anybody from opening those doors and somebody falling out.
That might be kind of a separate issue that maybe staff could look into, and if that's
I think
something that
that's
can
more
be done.
related to your, I'm stepping into the planning world, so you can.
Yeah.
If that's more related to your approvals at the development
Okay.
level, what
Yeah.
your architectural standards
All
are.
right.
And what this is strictly when you pull a building permit. So when the building permit comes in, it's gonna either have a deck as part of that building permit, or
Got it.
or there's a separate deck permit that's separate from it. So this is just addressing like when the building permit comes in. So it's really kind of a little subset of the overall development, if that makes sense. But
So
this change is just related to the building permit. not-
So my thoughts and stuff, and you guys can or can't, it won't be part of this, is the safety factor. If we've got all these sliding glass doors or French doors that can open, they aren't blocked off from the outside, they aren't anything. Is there something somewhere
So
that can be done about that?
yeah, Council Mayor, we, as part of building code, they're required to block that off. And it used to be you would see that on the outside, right? They'd
Right.
have some kind of guardrail mounted against the house. Well, we found the easiest way to do it was you screw a wood block and
Yeah,
trap the
inside.
door inside. Can
Okay.
that be removed?
Yeah,
We walk out there, yeah, but that's the best
You
kind
could
of.
also, yeah, I mean, at that
Least-
point, it's hard to stop someone from, if they're gonna intentionally unscrew it and walk out of it, that's an intentional act, not,
Yeah,
not
same with
a-
handrails and things
accident.
like that, we know that we walk away, they may pull them off of there, and we just do the best we can when we're in there, and.
just wanted to bring that up.
Yep.
Probably didn't need to bring it up now, but just wanted everybody to think
No, but
about
I think
that.
that would be a kind of a design criteria,
Okay.
something you look into, especially with planning or development, having that articulation on the backside and what you allow, but.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Mayor.
also
Thanks,
kind
Ken.
of looking at, when we're looking at developments, if it's, the concern is where they're lining up to a road like 116, it would be like with the site plan and
Yeah.
feedback on that. Let's see, Mark and then Jeremy.
Kind of dovetailing off of Councilmember Varenkamp's safety concerns, and I get that, I don't know that we have the authority to require someone to build a deck. But I will tell you, I often see a number of children playing in the yards behind those homes right along 116. And I am very scared every time I drive by there and I see those kids. And while we can't require the building of, a back deck or something, perhaps we should consider moving forward requiring fencing. And maybe make that a requirement to be paid for by the developer. So I just thought I would throw that out there because I think that it is a serious safety issue. And they're the same group of 3 or 4 kids playing out back, and they should be able to enjoy their yard. Their parents are nowhere around. And, the last thing that I want to hear is sirens racing to the scene.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. We have moved towards requiring fencing on retaining walls, that'll drop off mainly in public areas. Fencing around pools or safety covers, things like that. So I think, we have moved towards a little bit of that. So I think it'd be a future discussion.
Yeah, I think it's important because I'd argue that roads are just as deadly as swimming pools. Great, thank you.
You do see a lot of that in Maple Grove, along the thoroughfares. It seems like they had a standard at one point, I don't know if they still do, to put privacy fences along, like Weaver Lake Road and places like that. The downside is they tend to look decrepit after a decade or two. But
Yeah.
if there's an alternate material that would last longer, that could be
It
beneficial.
could be maybe somewhat more of a standard. Sometimes I know you get where it's like development that came in at one point and it's you're this color or then one that's painted white and starts peeling and you get all the different kinds. But if you can find the standard and the different material like you're talking about, then maybe, yeah, it'd be interesting to look into Maple Grove, and I'm sure other cities have had other policies similar to that.
I wanted to raise a question about, as an escrow system, does that mean that they're putting up a letter of credit, or they're actually putting cash into an account?
For simplicity, it would be a cash escrow.
Okay.
It's the easiest thing, I think, for them to do, and the easiest thing if we had to charge against it, for us to action, yeah.
Very good.
Dean, did you have anything? I couldn't tell if you were just.
No, I was gonna bring some, but we can go down a rabbit hole. We don't need any of them tonight.
Alright. Then did you want a motion for that?
Yeah, just direction, feedback, if you have any amendments.
I personally, the ads that you talked about all make sense to me. So I'd be in support of going forward with what you had plus the things that you laid out to add into it. Yeah.
If I could, and I know I'm a little late on this, but the question about letter of credit jogged my memory in the, and I know we've already gone by this piece, but in the letter, I think it's attachment item 5H1.
Okay.
In one point, it requires a letter of, it says a letter of credit. And I was planning on making a recommended edit to require that to be cash.
Well, that would probably be for the existing situation.
Right, for, as part of that letter, my understanding is that letter has not been sent to the developer yet.
Correct.
So I get, and it's second line up next to last paragraph. I can get you a page number in the
I
PDF.
think I got it.
Page, I think 35. And again, I apologize, I forgot about this.
That's a good catch.
But if you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines up from the bottom
Okay.
on PDF page 35, it reads, however, if any of the listed work remains incomplete after the applicable period set forth above has run, the city intends, and then there's a grammatical error, city intends draw upon the applicable letter of credit.
And you, okay, yep, I see that.
I guess I'm wondering, is that what we're doing with them, is a letter of credit, but yet here we're talking cash? Okay.
So we have I don't know what the technical term is, but we have a surety policy that has different options for different scenarios. When we were talking sureties against a master development or a development contract, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars versus a smaller number where you're talking about an acute project. So if we're going to make a change there, that's a whole different policy change that gets adopted in. And I don't know what the recommendations would be to require cash or not. That would be a different conversation. But
Right.
why this says
Understood.
letter of credit is because we are holding a letter of credit.
That's what we
Fair
have
enough,
on this
okay.
situation.
Okay.
All right, thank you for clarifying.
Makes sense.
Good
But
catch, Mark.
good eye though, yeah. Okay, so is there any other feedback from Mike? Otherwise, I'll make the motion that we direct staff to proceed with the additions that Mike laid out, and
I'll second.
Agreed.
perfect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. On to council reports. I just have a couple quick little things. We had a St. Therese official ribbon cutting today with the Chamber of Commerce. That was fun. Matt was out there and I was out there, and a whole bunch of people, bunch of residents. I think someone's birthday was today. They got to be the ribbon, the official ribbon cutter. And yeah, I mean, it seems like they got an interesting group there. A lot of social butterflies. They're gonna have some. They're gonna have their hands full over there. But it's a really cool site. If you haven't checked it out, I'd recommend go getting a tour. It's really cool.
People moved in?
A lot are moved in. Yeah, they're continuing to move in, and then they're still working on the higher level assisted living side of it too. These are more the independent living units are mostly done, I think. And I went into a few of them. They're really nice. I mean, they're gorgeous, and the views you can get up, especially up on the third, fourth floor, you can see all of Corcoran and beyond there. It's really cool. But yeah, the staff there is really excited to be part of the community, and should be fun having them there. It's been a long time in the making, so I'm glad I finally got to the ribbon cutting today. But other than that, the only other thing I wanted to mention was we have another ribbon cutting coming up on October 24th at 5:30. I believe it's here at City Hall. Do you know, Alicia? For the broadband?
Yeah, fine.
Perfect. 5:30 with Comcast to kind of officially say the broadband project is done.
Finished?
Yep. I'm pretty sure all the work is complete just about now, but that's the date they picked, and we'll hopefully have some good weather. End of October could be either way, but yeah, that should be an exciting one. And then that's a lot of ribbon cuttings for us in a few months here, so good deal. Does anyone else have any other reports they'd like to?
Just one, Hanover Fire has a open house on Saturday from, I believe, 10 to 2.
Awesome. Thanks for letting us
So,
know.
as much fun as we had as West Suburban, I'm guessing it'll be just as fun out there. If anybody is not doing anything, it's a good place to be. I do plan on going. I'll be there probably 1 o'clock on, so.
Perfect.
Another great group of folks that help keep us safe, so.
Absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. Anyone else?
Have we gotten updated property tax figures from Hennepin County yet?
Might be a Jay question.
Okay. that's good.
Not that I'm aware of that's substantially different, but gotta be getting close.
I would think.
Yeah. They're gonna give it to us after the fact.
We're running out of year here.
Yeah. No, should be pretty soon, but yeah, I'd imagine Jay can give us an update when he's back next week or at the next council meeting. Okay, with that, we'll move on to City Council is going into closed session to consider an offer for real estate. Under the authority of Minnesota Statute 13D.05 subdivision 3C3, the city is permitted to close the meeting to consider offers and counteroffers for the purchase or sale of real or personal property. The City Council is going into closed session to consider an offer for real estate. The following property is the subject of the closed meeting. For the City Center Drive improvements, the property to be discussed is PID 2411923330001. You're in closed session. We will call the meeting back to order. The City Council just adjourned a closed session, which was closed pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05 subdivision 3C3, in which the City Council discussed offers or counteroffers for the purchase or sale of real property. The City Council is prepared to entertain a motion on the purchase. And I will actually go ahead and make the motion to approve the City Center easement agreement for the previously listed property, subject to any final revisions by staff and the city attorney, and authorize the mayor and city administrator to execute the same, and for the city to fund the transactions and find that the acquisition has no relationship to the comprehensive plan.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. And with that, we have our schedule on there as normal. It's subject to a lot of change as always.
I
Anything
won't be able to make the Parks and Trails Commission meeting next session.
Okay.
Due to my daughter's birthday. If
Tell
anyone
her
else
happy
would like to
birthday.
Liaison.
So, and that's the next week's, the 17th? Okay, sounds good. Looks like a pretty brief agenda too, so one of us, I can either call in or we'll figure it out. I'll talk to JCB.
Thank you.
But thanks for letting us know and wish your little one happy birthday.
Mhm.
And if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.